Hi, I'm Nina Rosien. I'm a clinical dietitian for the Center for Community Health and Prevention. And today I'm going to be talking about hydration and the importance of staying hydrated. Dehydration is fairly common in almost everyone. I find that with the seasons changing as well, it's harder to really navigate when you are dehydrated. And a lot of times when you start to feel those symptoms of thirst, you're actually already dehydrated. So it's important to keep in mind little tips and tricks to help you meet your daily fluid goals. And also, to identify those feelings of dehydration. You can be dizzy or thirsty or constipated. There's a variety of symptoms. And we want to identify those, but we also want to be on top of our fluid intake so that we don't get to those symptoms as well. So I typically recommend around 64 ounces of water per day, which is around 8 cups. There are other recommendations that kind of go more towards like 11 to 16 cups per day of fluids, but I try to aim for at least a minimum of 64 ounces of water per day. There are lots of things that can impact our ability to be hydrated. Routine change is quite a big one. If maybe on a weekend you're a little bit more busy and running around more versus a weekday where maybe you're confined to a desk and you can have like a water right there. There is some ways to navigate the difference in schedules to try to stay hydrated. If you're on the go more, definitely always having a reusable water bottle in your car and trying to fill it up as much as you can throughout the day is going to be very helpful. And even identifying how many ounces are in that reusable water bottle, so you know how many of those that you typically try to drink per day to meet your daily fluid goals. If you're at home more and you're working remotely like I am, I tend to use a coffee mug as a way to just consistently refill and make sure I'm getting those fluid needs via that. And it really is personal preference. I tend to be a coffee drinker. So as soon as I'm done with my coffee, I will keep refilling that with water and try to do that pretty regularly throughout the day. Now, if you aren't a coffee drinker, then you might be looking for some other flavors and things to make water a little bit less boring, especially if you never really grew up drinking water. Water is going to probably appear pretty boring to you. So trying to choose beverages that are no added sugar or at least pretty minimal on the artificial sweeteners as well is going to be helpful. You can do sparkling waters, or if you're really trying to start somewhere and you like some of the sweetened beverages or artificial sweeteners, at least starting to dilute that quite a bit and then working towards replacing it with water is another good option. One of my favorite ways to have water is to put a bunch of fruit in a large gallon and to have it just infuse and to have that be my kind of like water throughout the day and just to keep, trying different fruits and everything. You can do berries, like frozen berries, and throw that in the water. You can even do like citrus, like oranges, limes, lemons. I've even done cucumber. I like the cooling effect of it. It's really nice in the summer. You can do herbs like mint if you like. And also identifying what you really encourages you to drink more water. If you like it cold, then just throw some ice in it pretty frequently. There's lots of nuances and ways to try to incorporate more water into your day. Again, being a coffee drinker, I found that I need to have at least like 2 glasses of water before my first cup of coffee, because once that first cup is poured and I take my first sip, that's all I prioritize is getting my caffeine in. So I feel more comfortable having at least a couple glasses before that. That way, one, I can enjoy my coffee a little bit more because I'm not using it for hydration purposes. And two, I have 2 cups already under my belt before I'm even starting the day. Because like I said, once the first cup of coffee is poured, I spend most of the first half of the day drinking that. So you can find ways like that to try to incorporate more water. And if you are in need of getting some inspiration for like variety of ways to like add in more flavor and everything, there's lots of sparkling waters that are really cool now too, with lots of variety of flavors. I've seen like black cherry vanilla, I've seen ginger, and all those you can make from home with regular tap water. But if you're looking for inspiration, you can kind of like go through the different aisles at the grocery store and see what options are already there. And then maybe that can inspire you to make some changes at home to make some infused fruit water. So those are just some tips to stay hydrated, especially during the different seasons. During the winter, we feel a little bit less likely to be dehydrated because we don't identify them as quickly. So just kind of keeping, like I said, keeping those routines year round and every single day of the week can help with the consistency behind making sure that you're hydrated.